everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Échale Ganas Talks, a podcast where real life meets real talks. Today, I have a friend, a family and friend joining us for this really special episode. I hope that through this episode today and her sharing her story, we may be able to get some healing and, just maybe help somebody out, encourage people, and somebody that could just relate to her. So, Jenny, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Yennefer. I go by Yenny. I'm a 26-year-old and I am currently in school for marriage and family therapy. Like Erica said, I'm here to share not my whole story, but part of my story, and hopefully it can relate to you guys because I know that a lot of these things are things that we tend to not discuss because they're kind of, it's not what we taught, right? So we'll get a little bit more into that as we go through this conversation.
And I think that's a big part is that we're taught or told not to really talk about how we feel, and our culture, especially your emotions, sharing your emotions isn't something that, I mean, it's not like you hear your parents like, oh, I got to tell people how I feel. Like it's more like whatever happens behind closed doors, it has to stay there. And so it's like traumas, events, things that we go through in life that we have to drag on as adults, but it's because of that exact reason. Like we're told, don't talk about it, get over it, move on.
Yeah, I think a big thing that has to do with it is just like them. I mean, now that I'm older and I'm 26, so I know I'm still quite young and I have a lot to learn, but I mean, just from past experiences and things that I've been through, I noticed that like you start to see your parents as people that were not taught these things. So I can only assume that they really did their best and that they're just trying to do their best, only knowing what they know. I've heard stories about my mom. I've heard stories about my grandma. The more that I hear about their childhood and how they were raised and the kind of communication that they had with their own parents, I'm like, oh, damn. Like, you guys could really not express your emotions. Like, it was very much like, oh, you have feelings? Okay, get over it.
Yep.
And I think a lot of it, I mean, we obviously internalize that. So it has a lot to do with, oh, okay, well, now as a human, I have to, unlearn these like toxic behaviors. And it can be difficult. It can feel like a lonely path, like a lonely road, because people look at you like you're kind of an outcast. They're just like, oh, you want to talk about it? Like, you want to regulate your emotions? And it's like, yeah, like I want to be that difference. Like, there's always that one person that is like, people may not understand you. People may think you're crazy. People may not understand what you're trying to say and convey. But it's like, these are the conversations that we need to have.
Exactly.
Because if we want a better future for our future kids, for the future generations, like that's what we need to do.
Yep. And I think that you coming up here or coming, on this episode of my show and my podcast to share your story, it's so brave because I mean, that just says a lot about you. So your age, and that's the thing, life experiences sometimes make us grow up a lot faster than other people, depending on the things that we go through in life. Sometimes we have to grow up. So I admire you for taking this step and for wanting to come up and tell your story. Yeah. So do you want to talk about a little bit of your childhood and growing up and how that was?
I mean, I can sit here and talk about all the negative things that I've been through and, a lot. But honestly, I think that in spite of, not having a dad in the photo and being raised by my grandmother for the majority of my life, I love my mom, my biological mother. I love her and we have a great relationship now, but she was not perfect. And I can admit that and I acknowledge that. But I mean, in spite of all of that, I'm just glad to, I don't know, just be the person that I am now. Like, I know people usually say, oh, like, things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
And as cheesy as that sounds, and I hate to say it sometimes, but it's like, it's true. Like, if my grandmother did not raise me, and yeah, she was strict. She's very old school. But if she did not raise me, I don't think I would be like the resilient, brave person and all these characteristics that I can list that I am now. I think that if my own mother raised me, I think I would have come out a little bit different. Yeah. So I'm a child of 4. I am the second oldest, but I've kind of stepped into this older sister role model for my younger siblings, and I think that's like a whole other aspect of being an older sister. I mean, I know you're an older sister.
Yeah, I'm the older sister.
How was that?
Sometimes I feel like like my sister can be like the older sister sometimes. I feel like she's and we say that all the time. Like, she's like, oh, I hate that I'm like treat you like the younger sister, but it's always been like that. Even since we were little, like she always looked out for me, and she always wanted to make sure that I was okay. So me being like the oldest girl, it was like my sister was the oldest sister. And with my brothers, well, they kind of was like them two, and then me and my sister. But that's how it was with us, at least. And you said that like you felt like you had to take on the role of like this older sibling. What do you mean by that?
I mean, things happen. I don't want to go into detail about those things.
You don't have to.
But ultimately, I mean, I have 2 younger siblings, and I feel like, and I have told them this before, that I'm very grateful for them. They drive me crazy. But I am grateful for them because I feel like at my darkest hours, I think they're like the main reason why I kept going. And I don't just say that just because. I don't say that lightly. Like, I truly say that because I'm like, if it weren't for you guys, I think that I would be like, who cares?
Yeah, because you kind of had something to...
Responsibility.
Yeah, fight for.
I mean, not really. And that's like another thing that we can get into, where it's like, as an older sister, like you kind of become this like parental model. Like, for instance, like my mom, who doesn't really know how to have these difficult conversations, she's still navigating how to have these like tough conversations and be like, hey, how are you? Like, are you sure you're okay? Like, do you want to talk about it? Yeah. Like, I've kind of had to step into that role and be like, hey, I've noticed that you've been different. Like, what's up? Like, and you can't lie to me because I can tell when you're lying. Yeah. And so being that kind of like person and being kind of like a quote unquote second mother, it's been interesting to see. It can definitely be a very fine line because yes, I love them and I want the best for them and I want to be there for them and they know that. But I think it kind of got to a point where, I mean, and my husband can attest to this, but I got to a point where like, if they weren't listening to me, if they weren't listening to my advice, I would stress out. And I was like, I want the best for you.
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly why it would stress you out, because you want the best for them.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know how parents do it. Like, I don't know, like you truly want to protect them and you want the best for them. And I'm not even a mom yet, but I'm like, sometimes you just have to let them make mistakes.
Exactly.
And that's what my mom told me. She's like, I get that you care, but you just need to let them make their own mistakes.
It's hard to let go sometimes. It's really hard.
Yes, and I think you mentioned this in your last episode. You're just like, I just felt like I needed control.
Yeah.
And like, I still struggle with that a little bit, but like my husband has definitely taught me a lot as like, life happens. Yeah. Like, you have to learn how to just go with the flow. And if they go through something, if they, you know, if they make a mistake and they're really needing you,
they'll reach out.
You'll be there. Yeah.
Yep.
And you should be okay with that.
Yeah. And I think the whole taking control thing, it stems from your childhood and feeling like that, because that's how it is for me, and that's why I feel like I still struggle with that sometimes, you know, but when, you know, letting go and really or even giving it to God and just allowing him to take control, I mean, it doesn't remove the thought, right, but at least it kind of like gives you some sort of peace.
Yeah, and I've seen that work with my mom a lot. I know you've kind of talked about your relationship with God, and I really admire that you're very open about that, because we kind of live in a world where people are very quick to judge people that are religious, which I think is insane. I think to each his own. But I've seen that work with my own mom. Like, like I said, she made her mistakes when she was younger, of course, and we have a great relationship now, and I think I would say she's like my best friend.
That's awesome.
I was literally on the phone with her before I came here.
Does she know you're doing this?
Yeah, she does.
What did she say? She's like, hi, Jenny.
She was like, oh, you're gonna go see Erica and Manny? I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, okay. She's like, well, have fun.
You're like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't say that now because she's sick, but I told her a couple of days ago, so she's pretty excited to see what we come up with.
No, that's really good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
That's really good.
But I've seen how God has worked in her life. Like, I would say within the last 2 years or so, like seeing her from being very stressed out and going through a very difficult time and always being sick and always going to the hospital, and now seeing her being like, oh, like, I'm okay because God has my back.
Yeah.
And like seeing how much trust and faith she has in that, like, has kind of inspired me to be like, maybe I should start,
It's beautiful.
you know, going back into like prayer and stuff. Because I did stop for a while. I will admit, I did stop for a while, and it's kind of been it's been a work in progress.
Yeah, and it's listen, Jenny, there's no right or wrong way.
Yeah.
You know? It's you and God. That's it. Nobody else. So when you talk to him, or when you pray, or when you decide, or whatever it is, it's you and him. And so there is no right, no wrong way. There is no, it's just what's in your heart that matters. That's it.
And actually, I did a prayer before I texted you today.
Aw, I did a prayer too. I was like,
I was just like, I just want him to just, you know, allow me to just speak from the heart, speak with honesty, and just allow somebody to like take something from this, because there's a lot of things that we're going to touch on, and I think there's so many more things we can touch on, but I think it'll be a good conversation.
I really believe that there is going to be, if not one, a few people that are going to be moved by today's episode.
Yeah.
So so let's get into it, and so a few questions that I have. So your upbringing without having a father, how has that impacted you in your upbringing, in your relationship with your husband? How has that been for you?
So I used to be that girl who was just like, I'm never gonna get married, I'm never gonna have kids, and I think a lot of that had to do with seeing or not seeing like a loving couple together. Growing up in a household where it wasn't a father and a mother and a happy marriage. So I just assumed, like, what's the point of being married? Like, I didn't see it. And I think a lot of experiences from my childhood, I'm like, why would I want to bring a child into this world? Like, everything's just, it's dark.
Yeah.
But it's funny because as I've gotten older, and then I met my husband back in 2019, I wasn't looking for a relationship. I was just like, I'm going to school. I'm gonna focus on that. And I actually had like, not a list. I didn't have it right now. I just had a list in my head where I was like, he needs to have a college education. He needs to, you know, be on the way to have a good job, et cetera, et cetera.
Like what you were looking for.
Yeah. And so then I met my husband, and he did not check any of those. and I was like, no.
He's not the one. He's not this. Yeah.
I was like, he does not go into college. He's not going to be a doctor or a lawyer. Like, he's not doing, I felt like he wasn't doing anything with his life. And funny enough, we met, the first time we met, we kind of just said hi. Second day, we actually went on our first date. It was an accident. It was a misunderstanding.
Really?
But I'm glad it happened.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of kept hanging out. And the more that I've gotten to know him, and the more that I've allowed him into my heart, because he can tell you, I am still kind of learning to break down certain barriers. Like, for instance, not growing up in a household where affection was shown. That was a big thing for me. Like, he was just like, why don't you let me in? And I'm like, I just don't feel comfortable, like, letting all of my guard down. Because I feel like something is going to happen, you know? And so now, I mean, he was patient with me. He still is, and I love him. But I do think that when you meet the one, and as cheesy as this sounds, like, for some reason, something switched where I was like, you know what, maybe I do want a family. Like, maybe I do want to get married.
You
like,
start to see perspectives or like life in a different way when you're treated
yeah.
what you're not used to, you know?
Yeah. And it can be difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
saying
no marriage. First of all, no
Yeah.
marriage is easy, okay? So
No, yeah. It's just like, especially if you're coming from a background with all these things,
Yeah.
right? And then you have to like learn how to have a loving relationship and a good and healthy relationship. I mean, we're still working on it,
Yeah.
but I can happily say like we are in a better place than I would have ever imagined. But like, it's like you having to teach yourself if you didn't see that growing up.
yeah, but even the fact that you can acknowledge that is big.
Oh yeah.
Because that's you wanting to love him the way that you know, the right way, or a way that you feel you didn't have that example at home. You didn't see, so you're learning too, you know.
yeah.
And even you're saying like that you had a wall up. Like I'm sure that wall was put up for your protection of your heart, to guard your heart. And sometimes we as a spouses don't understand that, you know, because we're like, but everybody comes from a different home. And your story, I'm saying this because I think that you were doing that, like I said, to guard your heart.
Yeah, I think I felt like I was let down a lot as a kid in a lot of different ways, and I'm not saying this to be like, oh, feel sorry for me. You
No,
know?
Jenny,
it's just it's just reality,
This is
right?
this is real, exactly.
Yeah, and so I think it took a lot of like, I mean, I'm still working on it. I still kind of get uncomfortable when somebody says, when they show affection so quick, like his family. I mean, if they hug me and they say I love you, I'm like, oh, like it's very hard
just
for
like,
me to
how do I
respond.
take that? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a learning. It's definitely in progress, but we've come a far way. I've come a far way, and I'm glad to say that. And I think a lot of people can't say that because some people kind of get stuck in the past. Some people very much live in a victim mindset, and I get it. Like, everybody goes through something. Everybody has a story.
Yep.
But you can't keep living in the past.
Yeah. And when do you think that you realize that? Like, I can't live in this victimizing mentality, or really figured by seeing other people, did you realize like that's not where I want to be?
That's a good question. I may be wrong or may be right, but the first thing that comes to mind is my relationship with my mom, my biological mother.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was kind of up in the air. And I think the day that I was like, if she dies one day and I don't get to say goodbye, like I would hate that.
I love that.
Yeah, so I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna reach out to her and let's do something about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do something about this, because not only was he doing it for her, but like for my siblings. Because I was just like, I missed out so much on your life that I'm like, I'm not willing to lose more time.
Yeah.
And I do think that's why I'm a little bit overprotective sometimes. I'm like, I feel like I think I reunited with them. I mean, they were probably in middle school.
Yeah, that's already.
Maybe I could be wrong on the timeline, but point is, they were already old enough, right? And so I'm just like, I want them to meet my, you know, if I ever have kids. At the time, I didn't know if I did or if I didn't. You know, I just want them to be part of my life, and I want to be part of theirs. And if that means getting rid of my ego and just like putting that to the
so
side.
Hard to do sometimes.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's so hard, but I think if it's in your heart and if it's been there, it's like it's for a reason, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
You're
and so
absolutely right.
might as well do it. And if it didn't work out, it didn't work out, but it did, you know? And now it's like, I look back and I'm like, wow, like I've been through a lot with my mom and my siblings, and their life would have been so different if I wasn't part of that. And vice versa. Like if they weren't part of my life, it would have been so different. And despite like the challenges and how much of a headache they give me sometimes, I wouldn't trade that for the world.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And they're your siblings. That's your mom, you know? Like what you said, tomorrow's not promised, and we just don't know. And it's hard to always, it's hard to sometimes look for something good. It's hard to
Yeah.
look for a reason to be like, okay, yeah, you know. But that you just said, like, just knowing, like, if I wake up tomorrow and, you know, she's not here or they're not here, like, how am I gonna feel?
Yeah.
And that's a big enough reason to say, like, whatever's happened, you know. And like I mentioned in my episode of forgiveness, like, it doesn't justify anything, but it's really for you.
Yeah.
Like, you say it's for them, but it really is for you. You're giving yourself such a big gift of forgiveness and peace.
Yeah.
And like I said, it doesn't, nothing, the past doesn't go away, right? But it doesn't have to define your future either.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, because that's another thing about like victim mentality is like, again, like if you keep living in the past, if you keep replaying these stories that you kept telling yourself, like, yeah, I went through this, I've been through this, et cetera, like, how do you expect yourself to like build a better future?
It's hard.
Like, I get it. Like, you probably had trauma, but do something about it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's easy.
No,
it's not.
And
Like, you can go to therapy, you can find like coping skills, you know, and, you know, I'm not saying like you're not a victim in whatever situation you're in.
No, you're not saying that either.
It's just taking accountability and what are you going to do about it now?
Yeah.
Because if you keep living in the past, what kind of future is that going to bring you? You're just going to keep repeating the same thing.
And ultimately, like for me, when we have kids, you don't have kids, but ultimately, like if one day you decide that you and your husband would like to have children, like you want to give them the best version of yourself, and that version would include forgiving those or letting go or moving past that, and you being that example and doing that, you're able to show them that, like, as well, you know, because it's kind of like sometimes we tell our kids certain things, but we don't practice what we preach. So then they look at us like, okay, but you're doing this is like not only helping you, but now it's the generation that comes after you, your children, your grandchildren, if you have grandkids one day, or even throughout your career, and what's going to come for you in your future with what you're doing. I think that's such a big part of it, you know?
Yeah.
and your story is your story. So that's, your past is part of it, but you're doing something for your future and the future of all the people that you're gonna interact with, and you're gonna do big things.
Yeah, thank you. No, and it's funny because, well, I don't know if it's funny, but the things
We just say those.
Again, back to that cheesy thing of like, oh, things happen for a reason. I mean, if you knew my full story, you'd be like, what the heck? But it's like all of those dark times and all of those like difficult challenges and trauma, and the list goes on and on. Like, I'm glad they happened. Like, I wouldn't change a thing. Would my life have been easier? Maybe. But it's like, those are the things that made me realize, like, damn, I do want to be a therapist. Like, I know there's people out there that like are going through something just as dark or darker, or, you know, they have their own situation, and they just don't have that support system to where they can like vent to and be like, hey, like, this is what I'm going through. Like, they don't have the parents, they don't have the like, you know, uncles and aunts that they can go to for these skills.
Yep.
Because again, if you grow up in a household, if you grow up in a family where these are not conversations that we typically have, who do you turn to? You know?
And that's the thing. You don't turn to anyone. You just keep it inside and carry it. And you guys, whatever happens, you wake up the next day and it's like, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And it's like you're supposed to just pretend and move on, and that's how it is. So now you're carrying this and then this and then this and then this, and eventually, like, your body, your mind, your soul, everything, like, we're and literally God says, like, we're not meant to walk alone. We're not meant to do life alone. We're not. But the culture and the way that our upbringing is, like, that's the only way. You figure it out, you know?
Yeah, basically.
And that's not, it shouldn't be like that, you know? I obviously we tell our kids, like, oh, you guys, you know, figure this out. But I want them to know that if at the end of the day they tried and they didn't, or something's going on in their life, that they can always come to me or Manny no matter what, you know.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe if they don't even want to, that they have somebody that they can go to. So you're gonna be that person for a lot of people that you have no, you know, blood connection to, but they're gonna love you. And yeah, it's, I mean, Jenny, for your age, like, and everything you've done, like, should be so proud of you, of yourself.
I am.
You know, you should.
I am proud of me.
a lot of people, and what I mean is, like, that whole victimizing thing, you stay stuck, and you're like, I'm not doing it. This is like, my pain is so big, like, it doesn't let you see past it. Your pain is so big, it doesn't let you see past that, and that's where you're stuck. And we wonder why sometimes, like, why are we so miserable, or why are we so bitter? It's because you carry so much. You're not meant to carry all this, you know?
And it sucks because, like, I've seen people in that mentality, and they don't realize, like, it doesn't only affect them.
No.
It affects every single relationship you have, whether it's, like, with your partner, with family, friends. Like, it can impact your whole entire, like, system.
Yep.
And it's like, take some accountability, but that's a very hard conversation to have with people that can't see past it. Like you said, that's all you see. And again, you can only do so much. And when it comes to, like you said, forgiveness, there's some cases where, you know, sometimes forgiveness is forgiveness from afar.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that exists.
It absolutely does.
For the same reason that you said, like, it's for your peace of mind.
For your own peace.
Yeah, because trust me, there's been times where maybe I didn't have forgiveness for somebody, and when I did, it's like this whole weight was
You
all on me.
released. Yeah, you released the weight. You released all those feelings, everything that was inside, and like I was saying, it's a gift for you. It really is. And forgiving somebody isn't like we're gonna be best friends now. No, like, but we can coexist, and I don't have to carry that draining feeling for myself.
Yeah.
You know, for you or for whoever the person is. But we're actually called to do that. We're biblically called to forgive. We are, and because God knows, you know. And so I think that you already acknowledging that, you already doing that, we're gonna feel better, you know. And it's not easy. Nobody says it's easy.
Yeah, no,
it's not. And it could take years. That's fine. It can take many, many years. But when you realize that, like you said, you're gonna feel so much better.
Yeah.
And we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
No.
So you saying, like, about your mom, and, like, knowing that they're not perfect, and acknowledging what they went through, and seeing that is so big too, Jenny, because that allows you to put yourself in their shoes and kind of understand, if you can, because sometimes we will not understand, but at least to try validate, I guess you could say, their actions. And again, doesn't mean that the way our parents treated us or the way our parents parented is or was the best, but I mean, maybe that was the best that they could do.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like one of those things where, I look forward to being a mom someday. And one of my biggest fears when I decided that I wanted to be a mom was, like, I don't want to mess up my kid. Like, I don't, like, that is still kind of my biggest fear, but I think I've worked through it, or, like, reframed it in a way where I'm just like, I'm gonna mess them up either way. Like, I will.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not
perfect.
gonna be a perfect parent. I'm gonna learn along the way, and as long as the fact that I'm just worried about that, and I'm asking all these questions about how I'm doing better as a person, and how I'm healing, you know, my own trauma, inner child, and all these things, I think that already makes me a better parent. Like, that's just reality, because I'm actually working on my own development, and I'm working on having a good and healthy marriage with my husband. Like, I'm already ahead of the start line, and I think that's I mean, I'm still struggling with it a little bit, but when I reframed it that way, I'm like, I'll be okay. I need to be okay with yeah, I'm gonna make mistakes as a parent. Everybody does.
Everybody does.
And again, I also just have to learn how to kind of try to let go of the control that I'm trying to have over my life. I can only have so much control.
Yep.
Like, I can't control everything as much as I want to. But yeah, that was just a random thought.
No, I mean, it falls into all of it. And your inner child, is your inner child still screaming things inside? Is your inner child still...
I think everybody's does.
Right?
I think people just don't acknowledge it. I think if you take the time, and I did this a long time ago, I think if you take the time to like sit down and maybe journal,
Something.
like write something to them, like to your, who knows, 8-year-old self,
Oh my
to your
gosh,
7-year-old self.
I could just...
To
how
just
hard that'd
like,
be.
yeah, to like imagine, like really think about what that child was going through. Like sometimes you just kind of want to like
Hug
go out
your,
there.
yeah, you just want to hug your
Yeah.
your inner child and just tell them like it's gonna be okay. Like
Yeah.
I think about that all the time too, and for me, like that's part of like you're saying, you know, wanting to be a better mom. Well, we've already bypassed like what our parents did. We've already done more than that, and you don't have kids yet, but I always said that like I want to be the parent or the, like, you know, that I didn't have or that I wanted. But it's crazy because when you have your kids and every child is different,
Oh yeah.
then you can kind of understand too, like, oh my gosh, like, you know, sometimes you'll say like, oh, they were your favorite or this or that, but it's like, it wasn't that. It's just like they also were dealing with stuff on their own, you know?
Yeah.
So, but me too, I always think about that, like, what would I tell myself if I
You should
could
do it.
go back and...
I mean,
know.
not right now, but you
No,
should.
yeah, probably not.
Yeah, maybe tonight.
Maybe once
But
we're done.
I do think that's something everyone should do, because I do think no matter how good or bad or whatever your childhood was,
Yeah.
I do think if you just sit down and really like think about it and write out something to them, I think you will learn a lot. I think journaling, you'll learn a lot. And also that has to do with forgiveness.
Yes,
Just like
absolutely.
letting your feelings out. I mean, you can be sobbing and still writing. Like
Yeah.
it truly does help. And I'm glad you bring up how you said your daughters are different?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
each of them have their own personality. They're completely different from another. Each one, they're different. So, you know, there's like, they all have one mom and dad, but you have to be a different mom and dad for every single one of them because they require a different type of love, right? And they require a different type of attention. Some of them need more validation, more affection. Some of them are just more independent, you know? So we have to navigate that and try and be the best parent that we can be for each one of the girls. And we were just having this conversation, me and Manny, we went to go get food, and it was that, like, each one's different. Eileen different. Andrea's different. Vale, you know, they're all different. And even then, sometimes you still mess it up. Like, you know, we'll like Eileen, we're like, she's more independent. She's older, and she's doing her thing. But sometimes she comes to me, or it comes to Manny and Dad, like, I just need a hug, like or Mom, like, I just need this. And you don't think about that you're like the little one, you know? But you have to remember, like, you gotta split yourself between each one, give each one what they need, and try and be the best that you can be. And we mess up. We're not perfect, like every other parent, you know? But one thing we do is we always apologize to them. If we do anything, maybe not in the moment, you know, I think that's one thing we always try to do is, like, when we mess up or when we say things that hurt them, or, you know, not even necessarily hurtful words, but just the way we say things sometimes, we always try and tell them, like, we're sorry for that, forgive us, like, you know. And I think that's big. I think that is huge.
Everything you said is actually huge, and I'm glad you brought it up because, I mean, I feel like some parents never acknowledge that every child is different. Every child is different, and I always hated when I was compared.
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
hated when I was compared to my siblings and or cousins.
Yes,
For
cousins
that-
too,
for that
for that
fact.
matter of fact. Yep.
I mean, everybody's different, and it took me a long time to understand that that whole comparison game is just it's hurtful to
It is hurtful.
to my siblings or
Yeah.
to me. And it's just like I had to have that conversation with my mom where I was like, hey, stop.
Stop. I am not them. I am
yeah,
me.
yeah, and they're not going to be me.
No,
like
they're not.
again, being an older sister, like I've learned things from them. And I've always, I mean, not always, but I definitely changed my relationship with them where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna allow you to be who you are, because I was very much like, are you gonna go to college? Have you done your
Yeah.
applications?
Yeah.
This and that. Like I was very much on them. And then I think I had a conversation with my husband. He's just like, they're themselves. Like
are.
let them figure it out. And that was big for me because I was just like, oh, you're right. Like,
But I can't. It's so
yeah,
hard.
like I need to control it.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. And I think when I allowed them to just be themselves, like Melissa, she's a great baker. She's better at cooking than I am. No offense, like to me, but she's great and she's a hard worker, and I love her. And then Ozzy, he's a hard worker.
Yeah.
That kid can work like no other, and he's just a vibe. He's so chill. And they've taught me a lot.
Yeah.
Being their older sister, like they've taught me a lot to just kind of just go with the flow and accept them. And
yeah.
again, it's just like letting your kids, in your case, and my siblings, just be who they are and just really validating the best parts of them.
Absolutely.
Because some parents don't do that.
Yes, absolutely.
And
I think
apologizing.
yes. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Jenny, validating their achievements, and trying to be understanding and try to remember, like, hey, they're kids.
Yeah.
You know,
there-
us too.
Yeah. Is there anything, I feel like we haven't really talked about, like, is there anything from your parents that you picked up from that you bring into your family now? Like positive things?
Positive things.
Yeah.
Well, my dad, I feel like me and my dad are a lot alike in like being so social, being so like easy to talk to, so loving, like with others. And my dad, that's how he was. And I feel like those are a lot of the similar traits. And our personality wise, I feel like I have a lot of my dad. My mom, she's a strong woman. So she has always taught us to stand our ground and like, you know, but my dad's, I feel like for me personally though, I feel like I've taken more of him than her.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a strong woman, and she's just strong. She's loving too and all,
Yeah.
but and she knows this, like she's strong. And I always think like, okay, I have to have like the sweet, but I have to put my foot down too, and she does. Like
Yeah.
she is one. She will tell you what she thinks and how she feels, and that's something that I feel like I've learned to do more. So I would say that like that she's this really strong woman, and my dad just the very much people person, and that's I think that's me.
I remember your dad. I mean, I grew up in Fallbrook, so
Yeah.
I would always go to la
The
lavanderia.
laundromat.
I used to go to la lavanderia with my grandma, and he would always say hi. And I mean, he knew me. I think that's how I met you, aside from your sister.
Working
being-
at the lavanderia.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I just remember him always being like, hi. I was
Always
like,
having
"Hi."
coffee and cookies there
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah. So
Everybody would, wherever we would go, it'd be like, oh, eres la hija del señor de la lavanderia, or
Yeah.
del don de la lavanderia, they would call him.
That was
and
his
we're
name,
like,
yeah.
yep, that's us, that's
Yeah.
us, you know. And we were there since little, like, we'd work, help him out and stuff, but yeah, he's a pretty cool guy.
He is. He was
Pretty
chill.
cool. Pretty awesome guy. And what about you? Positive things that you took from your mom or your grandma that you feel or traits?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the more I've gotten to know them, the more similar they are.
Really?
And a
No.
little bit.
Yeah.
I would say resilience and just figuring it out, which could be good and bad traits depending on the circumstances.
Yeah.
I do think that it definitely, there was a time where those traits were just like, I don't need anybody's help. I got it. I can figure it out. And I was very much like that kind of in the beginning of my relationship with my husband. Where I'm just like, I can figure it out. It's fine. But just really allowing myself to like learn when to use those traits, like when to be a strong woman
And what do you?
when
Oh,
to
sorry.
surrender like to my husband's lead, like when to allow him to, you know, problem solve and to
Yeah.
just trust him. You know, I mean, you choose your partner for a reason, right? So it's definitely been a little difficult to let go of that, you know, independent woman mentality. I'm not saying completely let it go, but definitely when you're with your husband, I think it's very important for them
Absolutely.
to. It's a team for a reason.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm still learning, but I would say both my mom and my grandma are very strong and resilient women, and I think if you sit down and try to listen to your parents, you know, childhood and upbringing, I think you'll learn a lot about why they are how they are.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff. And
Definitely.
it's not to excuse, you know, ways that they may have treated you, like you said earlier, but it's just to understand them.
Yeah, understand where the
And again, you're gonna see a hurt child, maybe.
absolutely. Still.
Yeah.
Still.
Somebody who
Yeah.
didn't get affection, somebody who didn't know how to express and still doesn't know how to express.
Still doesn't.
But yeah, it can be tough for some people. Yeah, but what was your question?
So where in your marriage did you really understand that part of allowing him to help you, you know, saying like, I don't need any help, I got this, or just having that wall up? Did anything in your marriage happen that changed that? Or when did you realize like, okay, he is my husband, like I need to let him be my husband, let him lead?
That's a good question. I don't think there was ever like, at least that I can think of right now, like an actual time where I was like, that's when my brain switched. I think it was a lot of back and forth where I was just like, okay, we're a team. Wait, no, I'm an independent woman. Oh, wait, no. So it was a lot of back and forth. And I think I still struggle with it. But I think I'm getting better at it. I think now that I'm getting older and I'm 26.
You're still.
I know.
It's because you're so mature. You're so mature. Like you're mature.
Now
you
that
know?
I'm growing into getting there to my 30s, and starting to think about having a family, it's like I want a family where my husband can take the lead, and I chose him for a reason because I trust him.
Yeah.
But again, it has a lot to do with me trying to not be so independent. It's just something that I grew up with, and I think a lot of it has to do with growing up, you know, I just had to figure it out. When it came to school, I mean, I was the first person to go to college. I didn't have somebody to lean on. Navigating that system and then navigating other things where I felt like nobody's gonna help me, so I'm gonna figure it out. And so because it was always it worked out for me because I did that. I think letting go of that and being like, oh wait, no, like this is my partner now, and now I have somebody to lean on.
Yes.
And it is amazing because
it is.
you relieve so much like worry, anxiety, stress, and I think when you really find your partner and you're allowed to do that and just be yourself and not have to worry about anything, I think that's just so liberating.
Yep.
Yeah.
And know that they accept you for you, and with everything that you come, and vice versa, you accept them. And I think giving them that, like, you are the head of this house, or like you are to take the lead, and I give you the lead. I trust you to follow you, you know, to it is a really beautiful thing.
And how was that with you?
For us, it's took us a long time, Jenny. A long time, yeah. But when we figured it out too, it's like the different, our relationship definitely got better. Our conversations, our approach with each other, you know, I didn't have to think in my mind, like, doubt anything or second guess. Like, I knew, like, okay, if I don't have it, he's gonna get it, and he's got it, he's got me, or vice versa, you know, that he can feel like, okay, I have Erika, like, if anything, I can come to her, or she'll take care of that. There's certain things and roles that we have that we know, like, we're a team, and just let him. And I think that that's huge. I think that's huge for men too, you know, to know that I'm in control, and not in this machista way that Hispanic culture is, when they think like, he's gonna lead, or I let him take over. Like, they might think this different version of, like, letting a husband lead. It isn't like that, you know. It's the way that God designed it. He has the man as the head of the household. So when you guys have your kids, you'll see, like, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and again, that has a lot to do with the impact of, or the importance of having a father in the household. And we kind of talked about that earlier, where it's like, how was it growing up without a father? I didn't think it was a big deal. But again, the more experiences I've gotten, and the more that I've just had, like, time to learn the importance of a father, people don't realize, like, it does impact you, like, in small ways. Well, big ways, but they seem small, but they're big. Like, you know, I see Manny with her daughters, and I'm like, I do think that your daughters will be able to see, like, oh, this is how a man treats a woman.
Yeah.
And, like, that's like your first, what's the word? That's like your first example of what a man is.
Exactly.
And so I think that's why it's important. And sadly, you have a lot of females nowadays who are just like, oh, I don't need no man, or I don't need no husband. And it's just like, yes, you do. I'm sorry, but yes, you do. Like, how beautiful would it be for you to have a man in the house teach your son or your daughter how to play, not play their role, I don't want to say that, but, like, they are part of their development.
They are.
Especially for men, for young boys, you know, and for females again. Like, I think when females grow up without a father, sometimes it goes, you know,
daddy issues, or what they say.
It's true. Very down the hill, and they look for validation in other people in ways that may be harmful to them, to their psychological, to their spirituality, you know, to their emotional state. And yes, dads are important.
They really are.
And I think people need to acknowledge that a lot more, because I always hate, and I still do, I always hate when I hear people say dads are not that important. And I'm like,
no, they are.
They are. If you see you know, a boy who had a father and a boy who did not, I'm sure you'll notice some differences. And again, a present father.
Yeah, present father.
Right. Let's be real, a present father. So yeah, I would say, if you're somebody without, or who grew up without a dad, yeah, it did impact you. And I think you should really start to look into how, because you don't want to repeat the cycle.
Exactly.
You know, you don't. And I think when I met my husband, I was just like, you know, this is somebody that I can be with, and I know this is somebody that I just want to be a family where there's both parents.
Yeah,
it's something that I didn't grow up with. So for me, it's a goal now.
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that's so beautiful, Jenny.
Yeah. So we out here.
We out here making it.
Yeah.
No, I think that's so beautiful, because, I mean, you didn't have the example there. You didn't, and so you know what it's like not to, you know. And I have only girls. I don't know what it's like for boys, but I feel like for girls, and maybe you can relate because you didn't, you know. But on the other side, of course, is like that's their first love. Like a little girl's first love is their dad, and they are their princesses, and their daddy, look at me, daddy this, like.
Yeah.
It is very important, and like you said, an active dad. You know,
and I think girls learn how to respect themselves also.
Mm-hmm.
Like they learn to have standards.
Yeah, like what you said, they don't. It's not validate. Like they don't need to seek validation when they're getting it at home. You know, constantly being told like you're so beautiful, you're so pretty, this and this, or you look so, you know, whatever. And same thing, just to remind you like. You're tough too. Like just because you're a girl doesn't mean like nobody's gonna put you down. Like you can do this, you know.
Yeah.
And that is also very important. That is very important.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be in your shoes, and I can only imagine. It's not easy because, you know.
I think it's gotten easier
Now.
I think it's just important to just acknowledge like how that impacted me and how that's showing up in my relationship with my husband. I think one of the ways, and I already talked about this, is that hyper independence. You know, I think it's just important to see how that impacted you. And I've seen how it impacted, you know, my younger brother, him being a boy, you know. I don't know if he's noticed it, but yeah, I do think he needed a father, especially a boy, you know. So, I mean, he's doing great. I'm sure he's going to be a great dad in the future. But again, these are the conversations we need to have, like starting to acknowledge those things and how they formed us and our thoughts and our actions and how it's showing up in our relationships.
Exactly. Or how sometimes the way we act, it's validated, like. Yeah, you went through all this. Like, what your emotions matter, you know? But not talking about it doesn't help either. Just keeping it away or not speaking of it doesn't help. I feel like you don't need to go and tell everybody if that doesn't work for you. There's people that'd rather not, you know, but I feel like eventually talking to somebody that can relate to you, it does help.
Yeah.
It really does. I think, I don't know, but you know, you're going to school for this.
Hey, I'm still learning. Calm down.
You should know, you know, I don't know.
Everybody's different. I mean, I'm still a newbie. So one thing that I have realized is, damn, therapists really be up here. Like I thought it was just, oh, let's talk about something. No, they're in their head thinking about like the next 4 steps, and I'm just like, oh, wow. I can't just like listen to you talk. I actually have to write down notes. So yeah, it's just being aware of like, what is this person bringing up? What is the next question I want to ask them? And it also has to do a lot with like, what kind of therapy model am I using as a therapist? Because there's quite a few of them. So depending on what kind of therapy model you're using, that's how you're going to approach the therapy session. So again, I'm still a newbie, but yeah, if you listen to this podcast and you're just like, damn, I should really seek a therapist, I would highly recommend it. It doesn't hurt to try. I started going to therapy again a couple months ago, and some things resurfaced that I thought weren't there. Wow. And yeah, it's been emotional, but it's also been liberating, and it's been kind of comforting in a sense.
Oh, yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah. Have you been to?
I had therapy when I was like 16, 15.
Okay.
I was when I was in high school, and I was pregnant with my kid, so, but it wasn't like deep therapy like that. Yeah. Like I feel like I've actually mentioned to Manny before, like, oh, you know, maybe we should go to therapy, or maybe I should go to therapy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've never like actually seeked it. Now that I feel like I've been more trying to get closer to God, I feel like that has helped me a lot.
Yeah.
That has helped me tremendously in healing a lot of things that I was carrying, and a lot of things I had to see in myself, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like that has helped me a lot. It has. Therapy is still an option. Maybe, you know, one day I'll go, or maybe I'll have you be my therapist one day. I don't know. We'll see.
Just kidding.
You're going to know my true color. You're going to be like, oh, that's why.
You're the problem.
That
I'm just
makes
kidding.
sense. Yeah. That makes all the sense now.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
My cousins are just like, so when are you going to start therapy? I'm like, no,
Yeah,
no,
I need to talk to somebody now.
I'm like, you're not going to get professional advice right now. Yeah, but I mean, it's again, to each his own. Like I said, I've seen God work in a lot of ways for my mom.
Yeah.
She's never been to therapy, but it's like she went to therapy.
Wow.
Yeah, I've seen her at her best, and she continues to thrive. And yeah, I mean, again, eventually, when you want to.
It's your timing.
Yeah.
It's your timing and your relationship with him. That's it, you know?
Yeah.
That's what matters, and your heart is all that matters. Not, you don't have to do things a certain way or act in like, no, it's just your heart and how humble you are, and humble yourself, and that's it. Because none of us are perfect. We all have struggles. We all have things that we're dealing with. Every marriage, every household, we all, you know, this world, the economy, all the things that can bring us stress. Everybody's got them. Everybody's got some kind of similar issues, right? Or at least I think. I don't know.
I would just say just focus on what you can control. Yeah, there's a lot going on. There always is in the world. It keeps going. But I always think that if you just focus on yourself, your family, your guys' own well-being, then you'll be fine.
Exactly. Yeah. That part, if you just focus in your family, that's huge. Because ultimately, that's your people. Like, that's who's going to be there. Is, you know, for me, my husband, my kids, they are my home.
Yeah.
They are my home. And for you, your husband, and hopefully one day, babies.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah. So what's one big thing, Jenny, that you can say to somebody encouraging, que le eche ganas, something encouraging that, you know, comes from your heart that you feel?
I feel like there's so many things I can say.
Or a few. Whatever you want to share. Maybe it doesn't even have to be something that we already talked about or haven't talked about or anything like that. But
I would say, I do not know. I just completely went blank.
Well, that's because this is not. We're just talking that, like.
I think that, and this is one of the things that you mentioned in one of your first videos, and I think I commented on it. Do you remember what quote I put?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
You comment on like every video. I love it. I love how engaged you are to my episodes.
Because these are the things that fascinate me.
Yeah. You said that. You're like, I hear you talking. Yeah. I hear the way that you talk, and you started mentioning other people that, you know, their podcast had similar topics and stuff,
and like your last your friend.
Yeah, Abel?
Yeah. When he came in, he made a really good point. And I should have commented, but I didn't. He put, this is going to really, truly impact lives. And I don't say that lightly, just how he didn't. Because, again, these are the conversations we want to have. And I think people get highly discouraged when they're just like, but there's already like 1,000 podcasts out there. Yeah. It's just like, there is. There is. But it's just like, again, your experiences, you as a person, like people are gonna just gravitate towards somebody in particular, in this case you, right? So I just like don't discourage yourself from like a new opportunity, and just keep going, because things get better. I guess that would be my message.
I actually truly appreciate that, because doing something like this is different. It's
Yeah.
something very different than our norm. And even every episode, I still get nervous. Like, the nerves are still there.
Really? During this conversation?
You don't feel it?
I kind of forgot they were here.
Oh, good.
That's why
So
you might see in the video, I was mostly looking at you.
Me too.
I like to look at the person, right? I know there's an audience out there, but
I really don't look at the camera much. I'm looking at you, same thing. But yeah, like in the beginning when we start, like I always still feel nervous and but honestly, that's it. Like I'm here just to tell people, like, que le echen ganas, que you know, everybody has a story. Everybody comes from, there's really good and there's really bad. There's some negative things that come and there's some really positive things. That it's just your aspect on life. It's the way that you look at it, and that you choose to look at it. You can be here and talk about all the bad things that you went through, and this is why I am how I am. Okay, then that's gonna be your life. Stay rooted on all the negativity and all, or let that be part of the person that you become. Let that be something that you're not ashamed of, that you can use to help other people, to let other people know, like, you're not alone, you know?
That's what the quote was about.
It was something like that?
Yeah. It was something along those lines where people tend to, like, disqualify themselves. For their experience. Like, there's some shame there. Just like, oh, damn, like, I went through this really hard thing. Like, I'm so shameful of it. I can't talk about it. But it's just like, that's the thing that's going to help somebody else. And that's also going to be the thing that connects you to somebody else. People think, oh, if I just pretend to be this perfect person, like, people are going to like me. And it's like, no, people relate to you because of the things you've been through, because of the challenges. Yeah.
Your past doesn't define your future. I think that was the quote.
No, it was not.
No, it wasn't?
No, but that's a good quote.
That's a good one. But I remember, it's something along those lines, right? Or like...
I don't think so.
No? Okay, well, that's the truth, though. Yeah, just go back to my video and watch it. But yeah, your past does not define your future. Like, whatever you went through, it's not.
Yeah,
and you're a perfect example you're like a perfect example of that quote. Because of all your achievements, where you're at now, where you're gonna go. And, you know... I don't know your whole story. They don't know your whole story, but people that do know can completely understand that, like, that is literally you. Yeah. You know, and so keep going, Jenny. Échale ganas. Keep
That's
pushing.
The only way.
Yeah. And when we come back, we're gonna have a therapy session. She'll officially be a therapist at this point.
In like 5 years.
I'm gonna be like, we have a special guest. Anybody that wants to come and have therapy sessions.
I do want to do like group session. Like I mean,
sign me up.
Kind of speaking ahead of my time, but I do eventually want to go to schools where parents can, workshops for like parents and kids to actually have these difficult conversations. I think that's important. Like,
that
you need to
start. So important.
Yeah, so have those conversations. I mean, I have a lot of plans, but I'm still in school.
It's really important. Yeah. Like working at the high school and seeing these these kids and these parents and.
Oh, yeah,
sometimes,
you would know.
Sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, like how did we get here? Yeah. Like, where's your parents? Or some of them are doing the best they really can. Some of them are working to provide and they're doing the best they can. And others are just like, I just sometimes don't have nothing to say of how crazy it is. But kids need validation from their parents. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they need to be seen.
They need to feel validated from their parents. And I say that not because I'm a therapist, not because of anything, but I say that even just because of where I work and what I see every day.
And because you are a parent.
And because I'm a parent.
You were a child once.
And I was a child once and I wanted validation, and all of us do. Yeah. You know, just to turn to or you're playing or you're doing something or it's your open house or it's your this and that, and you look back and like your mom and your dad are there clapping for you, or simply sports, like everybody that anyone that has their kids in sports, just your parents are right there.
That's a whole other conversation. There's so much we can talk about, but I'll probably be back.
I would love to have you back. I love to have you back for part 2, part 3, whatever else. Every week.
Come every 6 months.
Yeah, we'll keep going, and I'd love to have you because I know that you have a lot to talk about. You have a lot to offer. You have a lot of life experiences that you can talk about, So yeah, we'll plan on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Well, everybody, please share, like the video, and Jenny,
And subscribe.
and we'll see you again.
Yeah. Cool. Bye.